So my name is Adrian Barry. I work in Dell. I lead an enterprise architecture team. I don't know if you know what enterprise architecture is. Anyone have any idea what enterprise architecture is? You don't have to say the answer, just stick a hand in the air. Okay, yeah, it's widely known. Okay, well I'll try and demystify it a little bit. Give you an example, right? I thought this might be reasonably topical. So enterprise architecture is about trying to optimize an organization so that it functions, right? So I'll show you some numbers in a couple of minutes about what Dell is all about. But there's about 100,000 employees, and getting all of those people to coordinate in a reasonably effective way to sell stuff and support stuff and to do all of the things that you need for your customers is a bit of a challenge. And if you've done any work with IT, if you've ever had a device that's supposed to work, you know they don't always work. So you have to design your systems and your organizations in such a way that they can function even if all the bits and pieces that are supposed to be in place are not 100% the way they should be. So we use Microsoft products. You're probably familiar with those. We use Oracle. We use a whole range of things, right? And they all work reasonably well. But there's always a margin for error. So what you have to try and do is you have to try and design the thing so that if you get shot at by Klingons or whatever and you lose bits and pieces, it still functions. And when you open for business during the day, you can answer the phones, you can take the orders, and you can support your customers who need the support. Now, I didn't set out to be an enterprise architect. I don't think very many people do. When I was in college, I did computer engineering here, and that was kind of interesting. But when I left college, I went off to Germany where I didn't do computer engineering. I did something completely different, and I learned German. Then I came back to Ireland where I did technical support, which also wasn't engineering. And over the course of a long and varied career, I found myself running an enterprise architecture team. So I guess the message for you there is if you learn how to think and you learn how to apply yourself, you're always open to learning something new, you'll survive no matter where you find yourself. Enterprise architecture is quite a good place to end up if you've got a creative sort of spirit and you're willing to learn things on the fly and you're willing to take risks. But there are lots of different ways of getting into it, and a number of the people that I work with are the brightest people I've ever met who know everything there is to know about a very narrow range of technologies. Other people that I work with have accounting degrees. They're chartered accountants, and some of them are HR people, right? So they all know how to bring their own specific skill set to bear on a particular problem. So you can, if you're interested in something that's either specific or something that's general, enterprise architecture is certainly something to look at. It's not a recognized profession yet, but there are a number of bodies who are trying to turn it into one. So you should be seeing over the course of the next couple of years, chartered enterprise architect fellows. And as a profession, I think it's going to become more important because people who run businesses today don't necessarily understand how to optimize all the technologies that we've got in a way that works for them. So you find people who do the enterprise architecture are the ones that they're coming to more and more to help them to do that. So just some of the stuff that we do. So my job, I'm based out in Cherrywood. Dell's a fairly global company, so people leading global parts of the organization exist in different parts of the world. So you can see some of the numbers up there. They're a little bit scary if you think about them too much. It's a very big company. We do business, we take thousands of orders practically every second, right? It's not quite that big, but there's a lot of stuff going on. It all has to work pretty well. And if you think about this stuff too much, it can get a little bit overwhelming. So you have to try and distill it down into, what are the principles that you have to apply? How do you break it down into manageable chunks? Understand the things that are coming in, the things that have to go out, and think about it a bit like a machine. If you're able to simplify it down in those terms, and hopefully that's something that you're kind of all getting in the different courses that you're in, the ability to take a problem, break it down into achievable chunks, and then attack each one of those in a logical and systematic way, then you can succeed at anything. But one thing that you should be thinking about, if you haven't heard about it before, when you leave and you have some time, have a look at enterprise architecture on the web. See what people are saying about it. I think you might find that it's not something that has a significant amount of definition as a career or as a profession right now. But you will see that most of the big companies in the world need enterprise architects and they're trying to hire them. And the ones that have them are very reluctant to let them go. So it's not a bad place to get into if you can manage it. So this is my day in the life. So I did a quick look at my desk before I came out here this morning. I get a lot of contact, most of it's on emails. Because we're an American company, my morning in Ireland tends to be fairly quiet. I'm about 6 hours behind the head office, which is based in Texas. So about 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock in the day, it gets busy. Most of my time is spent talking. I spend as much time as I can trying to design good solutions. They have to be tested empirically as often as possible. We try and gather data to tell us how well we're performing. If the data tells us it's having the desired effect, then that's great. We go and we put it out there and our customers can use it. If the data tells us it's not working, then we throw it away. So if you had a look at the fail fast and fail cheap, which is a slight paraphrase of what George Bernard Shaw said, it's definitely something to try and do. Understand what you're trying to accomplish, be clear about what the right answer should look like and what good should look like, and if that's not what you're seeing, throw it away, start again, take whatever learning from the experience that you can. And finally, like I said, I largely work with people in the States, so their working day extends well into my life, unfortunately. So you have to try and balance things. So one of the things as you go forward into whatever career you go into is make sure you find the right balance between your career and your personal life. If you spend too much time on one or the other, you won't be successful at either. So you do need to find a way of balancing out what you're doing. Ideally, it's something that you enjoy and you can have fun doing it. But try and find the balance. Work hard, play hard. Sometimes they do more of one than the other, but always try and redress the balance over time so that it averages out to your benefit, right? And always be conscious of what it is that you want to take out of whatever it is that you're doing. And that's it. So hopefully I stayed within time. Thanks, guys.